This is drummer Mark Pelkey here with an advanced tutorial for Pearl Demon Drive pedals. I will discuss setups for both the P3000D and the P3002D for use in heel-toe playing. My experience with these pedals apply to singles and the conversions of two singles to doubles by adding a pedal post, left axle, and Z-link. I'm sharing my settings with you so you can set up quickly and fine-tune these settings to your preference. The only tools you'll need are for calibrating spring tension and hardware placement. I recommend using a dial caliper for spring tension, or worst case scenario, a tape measure. I will discuss complete pedal setup, thrown distance and height, technique, some beginner exercises, and also setting up your kit to you, not the other way around. Viewers may range from beginner to advanced, so please be patient if you are an advanced player. Just a few side notes. I recommend purchasing Pearl's elastomer core wood beaters or another aftermarket beater. The felt beaters supplied with the pedals fall apart, so unless you like cleaning, I suggest you buy some new beaters. I recommend buying a gig rug for marking the placement of your hardware with duct tape. This will save you tons of time, allows you to keep yourself and your kit square and symmetrical, and you'll have a perfect setup every time you move your kit. For the cost of about $20, you can get a 6x8 foot indoor-outdoor carpet and a roll of duct tape. You'll be glad you did. Since the setup is identical for the P3000D single and the P3002D double primary pedal, let's begin there. The majority will be setting up a P3002D double pedal. We'll get to the secondary or slave pedal settings a little later on. First, place your pedals on a table and follow the instructions for converting the pedals to the longboard configuration as shown in the user manual. Save the two remaining screws in the supplied Ziploc bag. At the upper direct drive linkage, place the key bolt in the light or forward position closest to the bass drum, shown in figure 7b. Adjust the beater cam from the power position to the finesse position by shifting the cam forward closest to the bass drum. This is shown in figure 4a. The longest line on the pedal post represents the nominal setting, or dead center. Move the cam angle back just shy of the rear setting to look like this. Do this with both cams on the primary or master pedal. Do not attach the Z-link arm and slave pedal during this process. Now your cam and direct drive linkage are configured. Next we will focus on the footboard angle adjustment. This is determined by the Unilock footboard angle adjustment cam, shown in figure 8a. For single pedals with two bass drums, this setting does not need modification, although you may choose to modify this setting later on. The P3002D double pedal secondary setting is something you may choose to modify. If the Z-link arm were attached, the footboard and arm weight would cause the beater to be ahead of the master in a neutral position, thus creating a shorter distance for travel. I modified my left footboard angle adjustment cam for the slave pedal for equal beater travel. To compensate for this, the footboard angle adjustment cam should be moved just shy of the index marking to the left of the factory vertical setting, as shown in this image. This setting is sensitive and will need fine-tuning once you connect the slave pedal and Z-link arm to the master. You may need to mount and dismount the arm a few times to get the desired setting. The downside to this adjustment is the change of your secondary footboard's range of motion. The footboard will be slightly lower than your primary when contact's made with the batter head. It's a trade-off between beater travel and footboard travel for contact with the head. You may decide to keep your footboard angle cam adjustment at the default setting. This is only a suggestion. Doing this is entirely up to you. Here is one of the most critical components to a uniform feel in playing your pedals: spring tension. I use a dial caliper to give exact measurements every time I make an adjustment. It's the only way to ensure a perfectly balanced setup. If you do not have one available, you can Google decimal equivalent chart to convert my measurements to be used on a tape measure. Remember, these steps are meant to be performed on a table and not on the floor, especially if using a tape measure. You will need a direct line of sight for an accurate adjustment. I strongly suggest measuring from the 1-inch mark instead of the hook. Begin by disengaging the lever and adjust the gap between the bottom of the lower spring mount to the top of the black plastic spring nut or upper nut in figure 13a. My measurements are based on this gap. For learning the heel-toe technique, I suggest starting at 300 thousandths or .300. Set both springs to this setting, regardless if it's two single pedals or a double pedal. The reason for starting at a higher than average spring tension is to allow the pedal response to be almost instantaneous. This will allow you to get a better feel while training your legs and ankles for the motions. Begin this process by removing your bass drum or drums and the snare stand. If you have the double setup, loosen the 4 key bolts on your Z-Link arm so you can easily adjust the gap between your primary and secondary pedals. Your throne position is the origin of your entire setup. Don't set up your throne distance and pedal placement based on the position of the rest of your set. Measure the carpet width and find the center. From the rear edge, give yourself a good 6 inches and mark it with tape. Think, if a drum riser at a venue had you pinned against the back wall, would you have room to move? Place the throne leg at this point and square up the front 2 legs. Have a seat and see where your feet rest comfortably. Take note of not only where your feet were, but the natural outward angle they had. Now place your pedals and have a seat and actually put your feet on the pedals. The edge of your heel should be just above the footboard hinge seam. Fine-tune your pedal gap and angle. Now move your bass drum or bass drums back in place, but don't clamp them yet. If you have 2 bass drums, measure from the front of your carpet to each bass drum spur and match your measurements. You may need to move your pedals to square up to your bass drums. Tighten your Z-Link key bolts and mark the outer perimeter of your pedals with tape. Place your snare in a comfortable position with the one leg facing you and on center. Use the same concept for centering the throne with the centering of the snare stand. The height of your snare, toms, and cymbals is not a concern at this point and will be adjusted once throne height is finalized. Once you've established your distance and center, raise your throne height. Try your best to keep the bottom of your foot parallel to the floor. With the weight of your leg applied to both pedals in a relaxed manner, you should be able to drop your heel without any resistance from your throne on the back of your thighs, but still sitting high enough to elevate your heels slightly. You see I got a slight downward thing going on here. So I'm not sitting with my thighs being level or parallel to the floor. I'm on a slight downward angle. Your shins should be vertical, straight up and down, or at least close to it, with your heel down by the hinge here. And as you slide your foot back, you can feel where the heel plate is and the hinge is. And you want to have your foot slightly above that. What I call a heel drop is shown in this demonstration. The ball of your foot is always in contact with the footboard. You're not playing heel up, nor are you playing heel down. Neutral position for your foot is being flat-footed or parallel to the floor. Do heel drops in 8th note form. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Practice this in a controlled manner. Don't slam your heel down. When playing heel toe, you want to use the same amount of force dropping your heel as you would dropping your toes or ball of your foot. The foundation to heel toe is heel drops in 8th note form. If you drop your heel too hard, your toe volume and execution will be poor. Practice this at about 90 to 100 beats per minute. Once you have a good feel for your pedals and finalize your settings for throne distance and height, move on to the next step. Remember, your dominant foot will be easier to train, so be patient with your weak foot. These exercises are in 2 measure durations. Repeat these exercises and throw your toe into any 16th note subdivisions. Play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1E and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The footing would be this. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Adding double strokes with the right foot will fall on beats 1, 2, 3, and 4. Adding double strokes with the left foot will fall on the and of each beat. Here is a left foot exercise, but still leading with the right foot. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and. The footing would be this. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Repeat these exercises and listen for equal volume in the strokes and, most importantly, playing clean and even. Do this until you get a solid feel for the leg and foot motions. Essentially, you're doing double strokes with your feet, just like a drum roll. Once you're comfortable with this, come up with your own alternations which add double strokes with each foot. Experiment with it. If you play consistent 16th notes and start getting sloppy, go back to 8th note heel drops and try again when you're ready. When you play heel toe consistently, you'll notice the strain on certain muscle groups. Devote some time to playing heel down 1 foot at a time. Play 1 measure of quarter, 8th, 8th note triplets, and 16ths, back to 8th note triplets, 8th, and quarter notes, all back to back without stopping. Do this at a tempo that's comfortable for you. Do this with each foot for 2 or 3 minutes each. This will strengthen the muscles required for heel toe playing and will help with your stamina. When you know you have the motions down without rushing yourself, back off your spring tension to 0.375 to 0.400. Once you've made all of your final thrown distance and height adjustments, remark your final thrown placement, adjust your snare height, tom height, and cymbal heights, if you need to at all. Mark the placement of your bass drum spurs by taping around them, and also the placement of any racks or stands, pointing in the same direction as the stand's feet. Now all you have to do is roll up your rug and take it with you for a flawless setup anywhere, anytime. In closing, these settings for spring tension work for me at 6 foot, 200 pounds. My tension is now set at 0.375, and as the leg muscles develop, that tension will increase. As you know, specific settings work for some people. You may find yourself fine-tuning your beat or cam angle and spring tension. Everyone is unique, and there's no shortcuts. You should now be off to a solid start. I hope you found this video to be informative, and if you have any questions, please post them in the comments section below. If you like this video, please rate and comment. Keep in mind, this is for informational purposes only. If you have something you would like to add, please put it in the comments. Catch me on Facebook at Drummer Mark Pelkey. That's Pelkey. Thanks for watching.